long time no vlog. Here I am, still alive. I've had a lot of illness recently. It's just the most atrocious waste of time, and I haven't been able to get anything like what I wanted to do done over the past, oh gosh, month and a half. But now it's back down to business. Time to get on. I even got my hairstyle today, and something I don't often bother doing. Yeah, it's getting a bit too long though. But do you like this cardigan? This is one I finished maybe about 2.5 years ago. It's one of my favourites. Gorgeous colour. Anyway, back to the project. So this is what I'm working on at the moment. I did this as a hand and lock class. Oh, would it be 22 or 23 in the summer? I'm thinking maybe 22 actually. I need to check on that in my records. But recently I've managed to get the finish the cotton motifs. I might have shown that last time actually. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while. And so those are done. And so I originally just had this this little half moon shape here done, and that one had the pearl on. So now they're all done and filled with chips. So first thing I did after putting the pearl down was cut up a load of chips. So I ended up with rather too many chips. So they will go into this little dish I keep. This was a foundation sample years ago, so once it was thoroughly cleaned out, I use it to put in cut out offcuts and scrappy bits that they aren't any use for traditional things like cut work over padding, etc. But cut up really small, they make nice bits of chipping, so I keep those so nothing's wasted. This is this week's Frame Friday collage, where you can see how far I've got. Not really what I've been doing, but how far I've got. So at this point we're going into me learning how to do voiceover, because I'd completely forgotten that I had created some work in progress footage. So now you can see the usual sped up version of me adding the chipping. So the bits that I'd cut up that you saw earlier, and the fact that I also completely forgot to put them on my velvet board, which would have made it easier than leaning backwards and forwards getting chips out of this watercolour palette. That's what that is actually. It's one of these watercolour palettes. They're useful for beading and chipping, etc., because you just pop a little bit of something in each section. So that's all finished there, the chipping sections, which took quite a while. And then moving on to this section of pearl beads. Very pretty, these pearl beads. And this was put down, I believe, in the class with some backstitch, so backstitch with beading. Here, however, I decided to try a different method of doing it. Unfortunately, I realised at this point that you can really see what I was doing for my hands. So at this point, rather than actually blocking everything with my hands, just block some of it. So what I'm doing here is couching with 2 threads. So you have 2 threads going. Well, the first one is a string where you put the beads on it, and then every bead or 2 you add a couching stitch. It really depends on whether or not you need to have a very specific shape. Most of the time 2 is enough, but 1 sometimes is needed if you're going around a bit of a corner or something where you need the bead to be exact. I was just learning how to do that here, so I got a bit faster as time went on. You can also see in this clip and the one that's just coming up now that where the sequin lines were, I replaced them with this gold chain stitch and a very tiny, very short bugle bead put in the oval that's created by the chain stitch. It definitely created a different balance of colour from the original design. And then there's just pearl to put around these areas, and as you can see in this final clip that's just coming up, suspense, da, 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 da. I managed to get one done. Now onto a completely different project. This is a dress I bought on Vinted, and I washed it, and some of the embroidery came loose here. Now, because of the construction of the dress, I wasn't able to get into the back, so I had to fix it from the front, fasten on a needle on what tiny bit of thread was left, and then fasten it through. At the end, I decided it would be a good idea to add some Flosstube glue to prevent this from happening again. I put a few dots in a couple of other places as well, and that's the finished thing. So that's it for this double vlog, and that's it for this month, and that's it for this year as far as the vlogs are concerned. There'll be a Flosstube out soon which will cover all the things that I've managed to do all this year. Some of them are just going to be photos because I didn't have any video footage from earlier on in the year, and hopefully it will also include the finish of this, plus one more finish I have to show you. So hope to catch up with you all then. And yeah, thanks very much for your time and giving me your support and interest over the past few months as I'm learning to do vlogs and YouTube, and let's hope that we can be onwards and upwards together in the new year. Thanks very much. Bye.